Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to call the City of Benton Harbor Commission meeting to order. We begin with an invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Henderson will lead us in the invocation, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Commissioner Edward Isom. All rise.
Father, we just thank you for this great city of Benton Harbor and all who reside in it. And we just pray for this meeting on tonight, Lord, that you give us wisdom and guidance as we lead people in Benton, this great community of Benton Harbor. In Jesus' name I pray.
I yield to the city clerk for roll call.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Present.
Commissioner Henderson,
Present.
Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom,
Present.
Commissioner Kennard, Commissioner Singleton, Commissioner Warren,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats, Mayor Mohammed.
Present.
You have a quorum.
This brings us to approval of minutes, regular minutes, May 5, 2025. Is there a motion for the approval? Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Isom. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard, Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin, Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to approval of accounts payable listing. Is there a motion for the approval? Motion is made by Commissioner Henderson. Is it supported?
Support.
It is supported by Commissioner Isom. Is there discussion? Carrying none, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Henry? No. Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard?
No.
Commissioner Warren?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
No.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to an update from County Commissioner Mamie L. Yarbrough. You are recognized.
Honorable Mayor Marcus Muhammad, honorable commissioners, and honorable community, I thank you for this opportunity, and I just wanted to come and say thank you. Thank you for all that's going on. Thank you for the wonderful week and weekend that we had here in the city of Benton Harbor and working together. It was all ages, all colors, all everything. Just had a marvelous time in a lot of good ways, a lot of good conversations. And I would ask that if you were not able to come to the Charles Lee Mickey Yarbrough Memorial, that you just take your time when you're going that way. If you can't get in off of Riverview Drive, just be on 11th Street to Empire. And what they did was they built us, and you all have seen it being built and done. And the building that they put up, I said they won't push that over, because, we tried to have portable toilets and things. And what I always noticed when I was going that way, there were commercial trucks and cars and post office. We need a place where people can safely go to the restroom, and that'll be clean. So I encourage all of us to do the very best we can to keep all our parks in good condition and to use them a lot. That's what we need to do, is be outside. That's how we played. You don't see anybody playing or jumping rope or not even baseball, just on their own rather than being on a team. So I wanted to thank you, and I wanted to thank the Herald Palladium for the coverage that they gave. Thanks, city manager. He had the keys. And so I thank so much. Thank you for being there at all the different times that we had to be at their convenience whenever they were working. And so I've just enjoyed it, and I'm thankful, and I look forward to us our residents or anybody else that wanted to, doing all of these good things that we're doing. Thank you very much. And that's what I thank you for asking me and giving me the spot to be able to say anything I want to. Thank you.
Thank you. This brings us to the citizens' comments portion. There is a 3-minute maximum per speaker. Please sign in with the city clerk, and she will call you accordingly.
Ron Gilson.
I want to say good evening to the commission. My name is Ron Gilson. I live in Berrien Springs. Over a year and a half ago, my wife and I decided to start working at the Crystal Springs Cemetery to help the city spruce up the cemetery and improve the conditions out there. And we initially formed a group called Discover Crystal Springs Cemetery. We changed our name because as of last month, we were approved by the state of Michigan as a nonprofit organization. We have a board of directors. And I wanted to say that today we completed placing over 1,600 American flags over each of the veterans in Morton Hill and Crystal Springs Cemetery. In addition, this weekend, an additional 340 will be placed on a memorial cross in Crystal Springs. So it'll be a total of over 2,000 flags we've placed in the cemeteries in both Morton Hill and Crystal Springs. I really want to come here today to invite everybody to a ceremony at 10 o'clock Monday at the cross, Memorial Cross at Crystal Springs for a special ceremony. Everybody's invited. Thank you.
Thank you.
My daddy's in that cross.
Elizabeth McCree.
Good evening. I wanted to make public comment today because I received several calls from people after the final hearing on foreclosures that they had made payments and that it was inaccurate that their property should be foreclosed on. However, I particularly represented one family who is also my family member. And in looking through the documents, 2 of the payments that were said to not be paid were reflected immediately by the county treasurer. That left a remaining payment of $125. I immediately got documentation showing the point and pay email receipt that was made to the city on the city website for this $125. The family member had paid over $1,000 on the same property right before making the $125 payment. But they had to make them as 2 separate payments because they were for 2 separate set of taxes. When I sent that in, after I first came here in person and was told there was nobody for me to speak to who was in charge of property tax payments, eventually I was given someone to be able to communicate with, who is not the person who is technically in charge of property tax payments. Nevertheless, I communicated with her and put her on an email with the county treasurer. The county treasurer immediately responded and said, "Great, I'll wait for confirmation from the city of Benton Harbor, and if that shows that that $125 was paid, we will pull the property from the foreclosure list." I get a response that says, the point and pay, the distribution system says that this is not an appropriate payment. I said, "So are you saying that the city did not get paid?" The response was yes. So I had my client go to the bank and pull their bank statement that shows the $1,000 payment, which the city says they received, immediately followed by the $125 payment. I submitted the bank statement to the county treasurer and the city official almost 3 weeks ago now. Again, the county treasurer immediately responded and said, "Great, I'm waiting to hear from the city of Benton Harbor." I came up here last week before going to a conference and was told that that person was on vacation that last week, but was not on vacation the prior week when I submitted that information on a Tuesday. I never heard back. I then asked who could I speak to. I was sent up to speak to Ms. Rice. I forwarded her the emails, and I never heard anything. I told them that this afternoon, if I had not heard anything, I was going to file an injunction with Judge Lasada and include the documentation. I went to see the county treasurer first this morning, and she told me that she had already spoken to the attorney for the county, and they were pulling the property from the list. She then told me that the city had been in communication with her, saying that they believed that the information that was given to them was fraudulent. So the city did not call me, but for 3 weeks has been saying that I submitted fraudulent paperwork for $125 for a home that was on the foreclosure list. Not one person has called me from the city. That is completely and totally unacceptable. I would not risk my bar license over $125. So I hope that someone here tonight will address this, because I did get a call from the city manager about 5:30. I was still in court. But that was the first call that I have gotten in regards to this matter that I worked diligently to do to get that property taken off a resident who lives here with her children for $125 was going to be on that foreclosure list. And again, other people called me, but my father passed, and this was the case that I could be able to assist with, and essentially telling people in the county that I submitted fraudulent documents. Not appropriate.
So thank you, Ms. McCree, and as I shared with you in private on our phone call, I'll say in public that we will resolve this matter expeditiously.
Deidre Fields.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
I am here for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, I would like to inform the full commission that I am running for Commissioner at Large. I would then like to comment, which is no longer on the agenda, but prior to, in regards to the single voting location for the city. I understand from a phone call some of the reasons as to why I do not agree. I feel that it's several steps backwards in life, especially for Black people. And we need 4 locations. I even have solutions in regards to the library. It doesn't have to occur on the 2nd floor. It can be on the 1st floor, so it can be handicap accessible, and especially with that being our building. I wasn't clear in regards to why we pay to use the Virginia Edwards building, and who are we paying? Isn't that our building? Isn't that under the Housing Commission? So I'm not sure as to why we would have to pay them. So that would end up being 3 locations. I'm not sure. And then hopefully from the funds that we have, we should be able to make that payment if we had to pay ourselves to use our building. And then I want to give an update with my wellness hub, which is at 756 Pipestone, utilized by many. I actually have a feel-good fridge now, courtesy of Mosaic CCDA, and have a food supply. So I would appreciate joint promotion of that so that we can actually serve and feed individuals in addition to clothing on a regular basis in the 2nd ward. Thank you.
Gino Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. I want
Alaikum salam.
to share an incident that happened to me a little better than a week ago. I got pulled over by a state police trooper, and long about situation that lasted probably 30 or 40 minutes, and he's doing the whole routine, I guess, to see if I'm intoxicated or whatever. And after a while, he pulls out his handcuffs, and say, so if I blow into his gadget, which it was just across the street where I was going, and because he said I was unable to drive, but he didn't pull me over for that. He pulled me over for a cracked windshield. He said I wasn't going to jail. He said I wasn't getting a ticket. After this long roundabout thing I blew, and I blew zeros. Okay, he put on his handcuffs, take me to the hospital anyway, and to extract my blood. And I got to sleep in the tank, I guess, overnight till I, you know, even though I blew zeros. So I get down there, and they said my blood pressure was high. I said my blood pressure was always high. So the medics offered me a pill, and then I refused, and they said, well, they got a new law, and if you could have a heart attack, and so we can say you're suicidal. Are you gonna take the pill? No, I'm not gonna take the pill. So they locked me up in the tank, took all my clothes, gave me a little piece of something, I guess, to, to lay on and wrap myself in, which you couldn't. And I wasn't allowed to have tissue, anything. So my main thing is the officer said everything was being recorded, and I like that to be available for the public. And of course, if I'm considered suicidal, after all these years, I'm all of a sudden considered suicidal. I think my actions should have been recorded also. Because if this is the new law, which they say, and there was an executive order, April 28th, which I think everybody needs to pay attention to, especially dealing with law enforcement, because the federal government gets involved in law enforcement pretty deep based on that article signed on April the 28th into order by Trump. But I'm just informing you of the information that I'm dealing with, which of course is a lot deeper than that when you get into the other little violation of your right details. So, I mean, it can look at you now, I guess, and say you're on some kind of substance or whatever, so it can go inside your body, and that's sufficient enough. Everybody have a good evening. You're a good brother, Mayor Muhammad, but I would like to see my brothers look like us on that construction work.
Marvin Haywood.
I almost lost my balance while I was sitting over there thinking so hard. Anyway, I had came tonight, but I see, like she said, y'all done took it off the agenda. But in order for y'all to try to suppress the vote, I'm trying to figure out where are these things. It's not on the agenda, but it was previously on the agenda. I understand that, but I'm trying to figure out why would they even try to, it's been so many things that they've been trying to systematically slide through the commission and get approved that are not in the best interest of this community. I mean, I'm trying to figure out, we talk about bringing the city had a clean audit, but we got to understand audits can be done on certain things and not city finances. You could have an audit, like the audit that was done was for grant money. It didn't have nothing to do with anything that Plant Moran had or any kind of finances of the city. And I'm trying to figure out how as we study having to borrow money from the income tax fund to keep the city operations going, when in fact, we had a budget that I think that was approved for the year that we're into now. And we studied borrowing money. I don't even understand why we don't have an income tax board. It was one, when it first started, they had an income tax board. So why would they dismantle something that is dealing with the income taxes of the city? You got every other board, but the income tax board, you don't got nobody watching the money. And so I don't understand that. I'm trying to figure out, are y'all trying to take us backwards or are we moving forward? And a lot of the stuff that's getting done in the city is getting done because it's under the 5703 when you talk about the roads and stuff like that. A lot of that money is coming because it's just money that's been already allocated that we could get this stuff done, okay? But when you talk about the inner city, I've been here for 20 years, and ain't nothing been done in the inner city other than the streets and the roads, but that was from the income tax money. But when you look at other things that's going on in the inner city, what is it that would help the residents get financing? Because I done been to the Brownfield Board, I done been to every board meeting, and when it comes to trying to help people in the inner city, they can't get no help. But it's always outsiders that come in and get help. I pay taxes because I work in Benton Harbor, and they take taxes out of my check. I check with the people that work for Abbott Marsh that stay out of the city. They don't pay income taxes. And you got a lot of people coming in here that work that don't pay taxes. I stay right in the township, and I pay taxes every year to this city for working in the city. Out of my check, you can look at my checks that I'm paying taxes. But you got people that's coming in that don't stay here, and coming in making millions of dollars that's not paying taxes. So I'm trying to figure out what is the program when it comes to city residents and residents in the city as opposed to people that come from out of town. Because it seems like people that come from out of town, they're able to get all the funds that they need to do whatever it is that they need. And when it comes to the residents of the city of Benton Harbor, it's like they're being pushed to the side. And I know gentrification is going on, make no mistake about it. I know that. But we have to come up with a system that's going to work for the people. You know, and I don't think that the city is working for the people and not in the best interest of the people. Thank you.
No more comments.
This brings us to our consent calendar. Is there a motion for the approval of the consent calendar, or are there any items that should be separated?
Motion for approval.
Motion is made by Commissioner Isom. Is it supported? Supported by Commissioner Warren. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard,
No.
Commissioner Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
No.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry, Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.
This brings us to staff communication. Chair recognizes the Public Safety Director, Director McGinnis.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor, City Manager, Commissioners. We just did our report last week. I would like to announce, though, a recognition for one of our employees who passed the bar and was sworn in as an attorney I don't know how that works. Is it Berrien County, State of Michigan? State of Michigan. So we have an attorney on board, and we also have an emergency doctor on board that works for us. So we've come a long way as far as being a place to be. That's all that I have for now. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Chair recognizes City Attorney Seneca.
Honorable Mayor, I have no report tonight.
Chair recognizes the City Clerk and Assistant City Manager, Ms. Moore.
I want to thank those that commented on the precinct location change and let everybody know that we will be bringing that on Wednesday for discussion. So anybody that wants to come out Wednesday at 5:30, we will be discussing that.
Chair recognizes the City Manager, Manager Little.
I'm going to pass this evening, Mayor. Nothing.
The Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Kennard.
Thanks. Things happen so fast, till when I was on the other side, it just seemed like the meetings last a little longer. Now we're open 10 minutes, and it's surprising to me that the meetings are so short, that we don't really get down to put the teeth in a lot of the things that is going on. And I'd like a lot more information to be out there for the people that are coming forward and looking for answers. And they're told that they'll get back with them. Many times, they never gotten back to it and get an answer to resolve their problem. So I understand when they come, such as Attorney McCree, looking for answers and things like that, that just doesn't add up. And there's been many times that things didn't add up. And we look for answers even before I became a commissioner. So I came only on so that we can more or less put some teeth into it, discuss it and talk about it and get the point across that our residents that are the voters want answers, they should get those answers. So myself here, I'm not here for the title of commissioner. Because if you call me Ms. Kennard, I was Ms. Kennard before I became commissioner. And I still am. And I know who I am. But I'm looking to stand in place and make sure that the ones that are looking for answers, like these lovely people that work with the cemetery, they're putting their energy into it. Many times I've spent energy here in the city, but it seems like it's not appreciated, especially when you come for answers or look for your city, that whatever the problems is to get it resolved. So we're looking for these answers to be gotten together for each and every person that comes before us and look for answers. And every last one of us commissioners that was voted in should make sure that that happens. We should be the voice that makes sure that these answers are given to the people that come forth and answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Fourth Ward Commissioner Clark Griffin.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today, and I'm so glad to see that that was removed, number 6, the election, the polling issue removed from the agenda, because even though we are home rule, it's still general election laws by the state of Michigan that we have to follow. And I don't see how anything gonna save money if we're gonna have the same amount election workers, if not more, especially trying to put it together. And if we have to get a dollar ride involved, they would have to be paid. And then we would be paying Boys and Girls Club too. So I don't see where money would be saved consolidating. Also, the Fourth Ward is the biggest ward, especially in the area, which probably has the most voter. So that would be a great disadvantage. And the Fourth Ward has its own polling place, also has a Boys and Girls Club. If that's the case, they could have consolidated one payment if you was going to do that and use both. But I don't see a need to even separate, to consolidating any wards. I think Ben Harbor been around since 1860. We've been having 4 polling sites. I don't see where's the problem now. So I don't see a reason to combine either or. But there are other, like I say, in the Fourth Ward that can well accommodate voters and not just one voting polls. Thank y'all. Have a good night.
Chair recognizes Third Ward Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank the citizens for coming out, and I have to apologize that this is the place that you come and set your last problems if you couldn't get them resolved anywhere else. And so when we get it, then we know that staff has the attention of whatever went on. And a good commissioner will ask the question and follow up on it. So whatever the reason that it's happening to you, I apologize. And for the gentleman, Ron, and his wife that's at the cemetery, that's something that I grew up doing every year, and something that doesn't seem like the newer generation even give that kind of honor. But I thank you for keeping that going. Thank you so much, everybody.
Chair recognizes Second Ward Commissioner Warren.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank everybody for coming out. We had a cleanup on Saturday, and it was tiny, but boy, was it mighty. We got a lot cleaned up, and we got a nice article written about us, and it's also on Facebook, so take a look. A few people can definitely make a wonderful difference. Hopefully, in the future, we'll have more people to show up, but even if we don't, we'll keep on pressing toward the mark. I have scheduled the Second Ward's Town Hall meeting. It is going to be Thursday, May 29th at 5 p.m. at the Benton Harbor Library, or Mamie Yarborough Library. So it's going to be there, 5 p.m. on May 29th. There are flyers. One is right outside this this room here, and then they're also on the first floor. And I will continue to refill those as needed, but hopefully we'll see some Second Ward citizens that can come on out and talk about the issues or concerns they are having. I'll agree with Mr. Ron. I think that's awesome what you guys are doing for Crystal Springs, so you are very appreciated. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes First Ward Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, and for all who came out tonight. Saturday was a really great event. for the residents that came out and for all of the community members that came out. Mr. Bulow came out, and that was really special. Got a chance to talk with him a little bit on Saturday, and he was just so full with pride and tears and stuff like that, just reminiscing over even his impact in our community. And I think as people have lived in the city and have done really great things, it's great to honor them. And I think we have a lot of people who are coming up now who will get some of those same honors. And it's just such a great thing that this commission has decided to do, honoring people while they're still living and acknowledging the impact that they've had in our community. So Saturday was very impactful. In fact, I was talking to the lady that owns the gallery. I can't even think of her name right now. Anna, and she just lost her dad, and we were talking, and I told her the reason I ran for office was because I saw women like you and Emma Hall and other leaders in our community was why I even got involved, seeing that type of caliber of woman. And so thank you for everything, Ms. Yarbrough, that you've committed to in this community and serving, and so thank you. To our residents who've had issues, like one of the commissioners, I apologize. There is no excuse for charging somebody $125 to get their property back if they've been making payments on that. That absolutely should not happen. So when stuff like that comes to our commission meetings, it is very, very upsetting. Makes my blood boil, and it should not have ever occurred. Same as with the voting, as the clerk talked about, that'll be a discussion that'll happen on Wednesday. There are precincts that are combined and have been combined for years, but as been stated, there's always an underlying reason for doing those kinds of things, but there's no reason, and I'll just leave it at that. But I would like to discuss briefly about, we've just had this big storm that happened in the city, and so I'm glad that we approved tonight monies for cleanup and removal of all of those dead trees and limbs and stuff, so that people will be able to get them out of their yards and help to clean up the city more. And to Ron and the Crystal Springs group, I have several veterans in my family. My father is buried there, and so thank you all for that work. Those men and women who served in the military deserve those types of honors, so thank you so much. And that's all of my comments.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Commissioner at Large Isom.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor. I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Thank you for all your comments. Commissioner Yarbrough for the update. Thank you for the event Saturday. It was great, just to be at that park, beautiful park. Me and my wife walked around with the new benches and barbecue grills. Great, fantastic park, and we keep it that way. The bathrooms, the pavilion is beautiful too. So, and we got a water fountain. So, don't get better than that. Don't get better than that. I want to thank the Jelsons for what you do. You've been doing it, going out there. I'm gonna make my way out there. I walked out there, and that's a pretty big cemetery. But thank you for what you do, taking time out, driving from Berrien Springs, and coming down to your own time to keep that park, that cemetery updated and clean. So thank you, and for Attorney McCree, customer service is important. Anything you do. Customer service. I know the city, I go down to the water department and you see the people moving and the young lady smiling, but customer service is something that you make people feel good about spending their money. You don't make people feel good about the business, and so the city of Ben Harbor has to do better at customer service. I worked at McDonald's for like some years, and that was the main thing. And I still remember that to this day. They said things like, you got time to lean, you got time to clean. Or, welcome to McDonald's, can I take your order, please? With a smile. And people love that. And I won't forget that. So customer service is important. And thank you, Mr. Haywood, for your comments.
You always come, but thank you for your comments. You are heard, because I like the way you look at me. You look at me, so thank you. Ms. Fields, thank you for your update on what you're doing, too. Thank you for all the comments. This Saturday is it. It's here. For our 9th year, the kite flying event. 9th year, me and First Lady Mohammed been doing this for 9 years, pulling this off. But we have a new location this year. We're going to be it's the practice field by Discount Tire. We got bigger space because we want more children, more adults to come fly a kite. I want this commission to come fly a kite. Man, I was thinking about bringing each one of you a kite because you need to fly one just to let some stuff go, you know? But come out, it's Saturday, 10:30 to 2:30, right at that practice field by Discount Tire. So we'll be out there. You'll see the kites in the air. So stop on by. Come on by and expect great things. Thank you so much, customer service.
Thank you, Commissioner Isom. I'd just like to thank everyone for coming out. We certainly have a lot going on in the city of Benton Harbor, but it's a lot going on in Washington, D.C. It's a lot going on at the state level. Just recently in D.C., and we were advocating for the Inflation Reduction Act, for that money to be allocated toward what it was intended under the Biden administration, which includes the $20 million grant, the Community Change Grant for the city of Benton Harbor. That was a part of that particular bill and law, and it's being basically siphoned off in the reconciliation, and how that will impact our community, which I've stated to both state senators who are trying to be helpful, as well as our congressman who did not support it, did not vote for it. However, he has been respectful in listening. I've met with him twice in D.C., once in Benton Harbor. In fact, he went and looked and not toured, but at least looked at what the Bobo Brazil Center, the condition that it's in. So with that being said, we do still have 1.5 million where we'll be able to begin the renovations on the building. Then as far as with the income tax, when we in 2017 passed the income tax, the residents, there was a streets, roads, alleys, and emergencies as deemed by the city commission. And we had town hall meetings because this was on the ballot twice. In 2013, passed in 2017, failed in 2013. And we had people from Grand Rapids come down who helped us set up the tax income office, and she shared with us that 75% of the city of Grand Rapids general fund is made up of their income tax. And if they pulled the income tax from their general fund and said we're only going to use it on streets and alleys and sidewalks, Grand Rapids would go under. It's 23 other cities that have the income tax. The city of Benton Harbor is the only city that only uses it for infrastructure. Everyone else, they use it for operations, for city services, to provide the best services to their residents. So we started that way, but after this will be the 9th year, we do need to come back and look at where is our infrastructure 10 years later versus in 2017, and look at other communities and how they include it into their general fund and ways that they use the income tax dollars. That was where we began, but the city is not the same as it was in 2017. Our needs are not the same. Our expenses are not the same. So it's not that we don't have money with people saying, oh, we don't have no money. That's not true. The money is in a fund, a protected fund that has to be used only if it's on an emergency basis. And the city has obligations. The city has to pay bills. The city has lawsuits with absorbent legal fees. That's not in the budget. So, and I'm going to bring it down, but we have to run this city as a business. And that means taking care of business, Ms. McCree. Pardon me for speaking from the floor in that sense, but we will do better. And we will continue to provide the necessary services to the residents, and we will continue to rebuild our infrastructure. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion is made by Commissioner Isom, supported by Commissioner Clark Griffin. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennard,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Motion carried.